So obviously a very rich experience. How has that translated into the person that you are today, into the leader that you are today?
I don't know. I think that when I did the State of the Province address a few weeks ago, and we went to UWC to have the banquet, which turned out to be a jazz concert with Robbie Jansen and so forth. And we dedicated that night to inviting all the key activists from the structures of the UDF, because it's the 25th anniversary this year. I was struck by a very deep sense of reflection, to think back 25 years. And I remembered a small little poem that a friend of mine had written. He's a minimalist poet, so he doesn't write long poems, very short ones, 2 lines, 3 lines, what the Japanese would call haikus. But it's 2 lines meant to pack enormous wisdom. And I think it summarizes the phase that I'm going through in thinking about leadership. The poem goes very simply: forget who you are to remember who you were. Forget who you are to remember who you were. And that is an enormously powerful little poem. And I think that that's probably a phase that I'm going through in thinking about how does one manage leadership in the current trajectory in the country, in the ANC, and in the world. Because there's probably quite a lot of things that I would have begun to take for granted as we go on. There's quite a lot of things that I have not been faithful to as we go on. I often wonder whether being in office and being with the people are sometimes mutually exclusive. Because sometimes you get such intense times when you're in office, when you've got to make all the bureaucratic decisions that governments have to make, that it's sometimes at the expense of being with, and sometimes you get MECs and so forth who love being with the people, but don't sign performance agreements with their HODs, and therefore their department lets them down. Because they haven't worked out and said, DDG, I want you to do this, Chief Director, I want you to do this, and Director, I want you to do this. And so they think that if they skimp on the management part of leadership, that they are popular. But their popularity is betrayed by the lack of concrete delivery and transformation that the departments are capable of doing. And so, in a sense, I think that it's a wrong approach to choose one or the other.
Is that something that you grapple with on a day-to-day basis?
No, I think I grapple with it regularly, and sometimes we're formalistic, and I say, okay, Mondays it's ANC days, Tuesdays it's management days, Wednesdays it's cabinet days, Thursdays it's caucus days, Thursday afternoon, and maybe Friday you're out with people and all of those kind of things. But then there's a whole lot of people who want meetings and all of those kind of things. So it's the answer is not in formalism about trying to set out days. The answer is in
flexibility,
in an approach of how you do it.
Okay.